What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. I have picked up a brand new build for you guys. Without a doubt, it is the most destroyed bike I've had on the channel. Before I show you all the damage on this bike, because I've had this bike for several months actually, I picked this up in mid-winter. It was crazy going out to pick up this bike among the other bikes I picked up. And right now I'm going to start taking it apart to fully assess the level of the damage, because on this bike, there is a lot. Looking at the bike right now, I am not even sure where to begin to start assessing the damage because it's everywhere. But let's start up front. I'm sure I'm going to miss some things because there's a lot of damage on this motorcycle. So up front over here, as you can see, the front wheel is no good. The tire is actually also no good. The rotors are bent pretty bad. The forks are no good. Both the left and the right. The left is actually broken right in there. So pretty nasty damage. That's the first time I've ever seen that. If we go up top, you can clearly tell there's something going up over there and it's not good. The frame is broken. Really bad. There's a decent chunk missing. You can see it's pretty much resting on the lower triple tree. Right over there, there's clearly a chunk missing right here. I'm not even sure where that is. But moving to the right side of the motorcycle, obviously, right handlebar or clip-on is broken. The upper triple tree is no good. We have damage to the gas tank over here. It is a plastic gas tank. This is the first time I'm working on a motorcycle with a plastic gas tank. So obviously this is not salvageable by any means necessary. And down in there, you can see more of that frame damage where it cracked clean off. Obviously the fairings are no good. That's without a doubt not salvageable. And going down to the rear side over here, this is bent. It's actually contacting on the exhaust. I can't even push it anymore. There's absolutely no damage to the rear peg over here, but this is clearly bent. You can see it right over there. So how does this get some damage and this doesn't? No idea. Moving up top, a lot of parts was missing from this bike when I picked it up. Obviously there's no front dash. There was no rider seats, no passenger seats. I have no idea what happened over there. The stock tail or stock fender completely broken off. The rear wheel appears to be in good condition, so that's really good. Some rust on the rotors, but we can clean that up, no problem. Over to the left side of the motorcycle, we have some damage up here. The tail fairing over here appears to be okay. Doesn't look damaged, so that's good. The rear passenger peg on this side, some scuff on it. The swing arm has some scuff on it over here. The left side rear set is completely broken, as you can see. Yeah, that's no good. Footrest appears to be okay. The engine cover on the left side has sustained some scratches, so that's not looking good. And as you can see, we have lots of oil residue everywhere over here. So without a doubt, this bike was clearly damaged pretty bad. Moving up top over here, more damage to the gas tank, damage over here. Obviously, like I pointed out, the gas tank is no good. Tank fairing over here, no good. Left side clip-on, broken. Luckily, the switches are okay. Some minor scratch over here, I'm not concerned. Same thing for this side, the switch is okay. Master cylinder is present. The reservoir is missing. The plunger and the pin is missing too. But hopefully we can get some parts to service that one. If I drop down low in here, you can see that rod is badly damaged. We need to get this on the lift, start stripping parts so we can get a better idea of what's going down in there. But this bike was for sure in a very serious wreck. The entire front harness is just over here. I did not get the dash for this, which is super unfortunate because those are not cheap by any stretch of the imagination. They're very expensive piece. Obviously the front fairing stay destroyed. Windshield, front nose fairing. Well, you can clearly tell from the front end damage, none of that came with this bike. Even the rear subframe sustained some damage. As you can see, the fuel tank bracket over there is broken. And if I step back, you can clearly see what's wrong over here. The subframe is swayed to the right. Look at the tire. completely swayed over to the right. Crazy. Now with the bike on the lift, we're ready to start stripping this open to determine the extent of the damage and see exactly what I have purchased here, because so far it's quite scary. We are also losing a lot of oil just by moving the motorcycle. And I'm not wasting any time. First, I start by removing the right side fairing. There's a couple bolts that needs to be removed, then the coolant reservoir, then the hardware that secures the lower fairing or the belly pan on both sides. This hardware is sheared down or grounded down because this bike obviously took a spill for a good amount of time. So a lot of this were a bit tough to get off, but we eventually got it all out. Now the coolant reservoir needs to be removed. That piece is also damaged. The hoses also have kinks and cuts in them, so we're going to be replacing all of that. I also placed a bike stand right underneath the engine oil pan. This way I can lift the motorcycle, relieve the pressure that's on the forks and on the lower 333, and then we can start inspecting this bike. Guys, as you can see, the motorcycle is now completely stripped and we can properly assess the level of damage. Starting up front here, you can clearly see a decent chunk of the frame is completely missing. It's broken right over here and right over there. Absolutely crazy. If we go down here, you can see the hairline crack that runs across the frame all the way down in here, even all the way down over here. That is just gnarly. If we drop down over here, you can see the radiator was clearly pushed in, completely disfigured. There is some damage to the oil filter over there and to the exhaust headers. You can see how that was sandwiched up in there. That is absolutely crazy. Look at this. Look at the condition of those headers. Look at that. You can see the damage to the oil filter a lot better over here. It was smacked right into the engine block itself. The horn over here is damaged. Look at those headers. I have never seen a bike with this extent of damage before. The rad, like I pointed out, was damaged. If we go over to the left side of the motorcycle, you can see where the mounting point on the engine block completely broke off the frame. That is just crazy. I have never ever seen that. I know I said that before, but if you guys have, let me know, because I've worked on vehicles for a very long time, and wow. And when I started looking back over here, you can clearly tell there's a misalignment going on over here. And I picture the back, the mounting point at the rear of the engine to the frame, broken. Over here is a better view. You can see that this is what it should look like right over here. The bolt goes right through it, secures the frame to the engine. Well, that's not happening over on the other side. So that is also not good. At this point, I'm gonna continue stripping stuff off the motorcycle because I wanna make sure there's nothing else that's gonna surprise me any more than I currently have been, because trust me, I have been surprised by everything that's wrong with this motorcycle. But like I said at the beginning of the video, it's going to be up to you guys if we rebuild this on the channel. There's only a couple of things that you guys need to get done for us to be able to push this through. Go follow us on Instagram. We need to hit 1,000 followers over there. The Instagram name is going to be over here and in the description. This video also needs to hit 1,000 followers for us to take this on. So if you guys want to see me rebuild this bike as much as I want to, you guys know what you got to do. But enough talking, more stripping. And the damage extends up here. As you can see, the ignition barrel is completely separated. This bike, as most bikes from Europe, has an immobilizer in it, so we will not be able to start it with the key, which I obviously did not receive. Part list on this bike, if we're going to rebuild it, it's going to be an extensive one. Well, I had to disconnect the fuel tank. Everything was already disconnected. So while I'm still assessing damage, we saw the damage on the outside of the tank. Oh, look at that. That's a nasty crack. Wow. That's nasty. Oh, the fuel connect pipe's also broken off. This is completely pulled from the connector. I don't even know how that happens. The subframe was obviously broken. I believe I pointed out earlier. And looking at the bike right now, look at the condition of the airbox. This is completely destroyed. That is absolutely crazy. With an airbox with this much damage, and if the bike was running for God knows how long, it's possible that something might have been sucked in, because the air filter does not seem to be in the proper location whatsoever. Wow, this damage is getting scarier every second I spend on it. The one good thing that I've seen so far is the battery. It has a lithium battery, and this is quite expensive from factory, and it looks like it still has power. I'm not sure if you can see the blue light over there, but it looks like it still has power. So that's a win already. That's one. Got the lower airbox out now. Okay, so this is just spinning in here. I'm going to need to do some figuring out to get this axle out. And I'm going to cut you guys back in. Axle is now out. So you guys can clearly see I'm just stripping the bike. At this point, with the extent of damage that this bike currently has, I'm not sure what's going to happen. I'm not sure if this is going to be a build or if it's going to be one of the bikes I purchased and just pot it out because it's not worth it. But I'm going to leave that decision up to you guys. One fork out. I'm going to disconnect all the connectors that goes to the left side of the handlebar. Left handlebar is off. Same for the right side. So now I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the brake line. We are obviously going to lose some fluid over here. And now I have the right side handlebar assembly off the bike. The horn assembly wiring, and we have that out. And now the wiring for the kickstand and the bracket that secures the ride and the horn assembly. Horn is off, or at least what's left of it. There's no coolant. I'm gonna disconnect the right fan connector. We have two hoses over here and one final bolt up here. And we have the Dyno's right off. In case you guys don't know what I'm doing just yet, I'm stripping everything. Every single thing has to be stripped. The engine has to be out of the frame, subframe, swinging arm. Everything has to be separate, and I can figure out which way I want to go with this particular motorcycle. Because right now, it's not looking good. I'm sure you guys are gonna agree with me too. We have two O2 sensors on this bike, and then we need to disconnect the second one, but that's in here. Here's the second one. There we go. Second O2 sensor is disconnected. Now I believe we're ready to pull out the exhaust pipe. I usually like to break this loose before I start using the impact gun. That way you know you're not gonna pull the studs out of the block. So this is probably wishful thinking, but I hope I can drop this exhaust without having to remove the rear sets or dropping off the motorcycle legs. So just like I expected, the exhaust is contacting over here. There's no way to get it because of the lift, and I don't want to drop that just yet. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove this. Hopefully we get to clear it at that time. We have it out. Lower airbox is out. The most concerning part is that if we do intend to rebuild this bike, we don't know if the engine runs. There is no way to start it. As you can see, we have an issue over there with the oil filter housing and the oil cooler. The exhaust is damaged. The fuel pipe, the main fuel line that goes from the fuel pump underneath the fuel tank, is also damaged. That's it over here. So we can't even get fuel if we was going to try to start it. And the damage just goes on. This damage was so bad that it pushed the airbox, damaged the airbox, and pushed the throttle bodies off where they're supposed to be seated. So we can't even attempt to run this bike, but we do need to make sure we have a running engine. I already looked down in there. Everything appears to be good. I'm going to go ahead and pull the coil packs and spark plugs. And when I can confirm that everything is okay in here, I believe, I'm not certain because I do not know. I believe we might have a good engine. Obviously, I need to drain the engine oil if there's anything left in it and see what that looks like. We have a lot of work. Okay, one damaged tail lights. I got the second one out right now. So I have that tail fairing now out of here. We're gonna work our way down this way. So I just undid the axle to be able to get clearance, pull out the ABS sensor. Now we have that out, and that can go over to the front. Okay, kickstand is off. Left rear set is off. Now if I've done everything right, this should just pop out and our swing arm should be separated. Our bolt is out. Now this bolt is for the ABS over here. At this point, I believe that's all the hardware that secures the frame to the engine. Now I have to go ahead and start detaching the wiring harness from the frame because it's mounted at various locations. I'm going to go ahead and complete that real quick. Now we can pull the frame off the engine assembly. Guys, it's been a long day stripping the Aprilia RS660. I have pretty much all the parts off of it now. The only thing left to do is to remove the wiring harness, the ABS pumps, and the lights, because we need this engine as bare as possible so we can hopefully get it repaired if that's the route we're gonna go. But like I said at the beginning of the video, it's up to you guys if this bike is gonna get repaired. You guys need to support the channel by making sure you like these videos, drop a comment, purchase some merch, and consider joining the channel's YouTube membership. All of that is gonna go a long way ensuring we have the funds to continue this project. So now I'm going to go ahead and do the boring, tedious task of completely stripping the wiring harness off of this engine. So now I'm going to insert the borescope in there, and as you can see, it doesn't look bad. It's a bit concerning that this lower edge has what appears to be some rust on it. So I'm not sure why that is. This is a brand new motor. This motorcycle does have really low mileage, so that is concerning. If we move over to the other side, left side, that looks really good. That's what it should look like. So this is concerning, to say the least. Now I'm going to move the borescope to the second cylinder. So now I'm looking at the second cylinder. It's not as concerning as the first one. We do have a little bit of some debris, I'm guessing, in here, and what appears to be maybe some rust too. Again, it should just have some carbon deposit, nothing else. I'm not sure exactly how all of this got in here. On this side, what appears to be some rust on the edges too, but overall the cylinder walls appear to be in okay condition, no concerns over there. But hopefully when we start up this motorcycle, if we're able to, this would be nothing to be concerned about. So obviously I removed the throttle bodies, and this rubber boot stayed on this one, and it was actually pulled off the throttle assembly before I even removed the airbox. But looking down in here, this looks really good, nothing concerning over there. Some debris on the left side, but nothing that should raise too much alarm. Now if we go over to the right side, as you can see, massive difference. Again, I'm not sure what this is. It looks like maybe some moisture, and then that's forming a rust. It's hard to say. I am going to need to purchase some carb cleaner and some other products to see if we can get this cleaned out. So this bike is starting to look like it's going to be one really tedious project. I do not know for sure right now that I have a good engine, and that is a concern. I already showed you guys the damage to the engine over here and over at the front where it actually mounts to the frame. Obviously the damage to the oil cooler over there is more concerning, because if this engine was oil stabbed, that would not be good. So now that we've seen the condition of the spark plugs, I'm going to go ahead and do a little vacuum action in there, reinstall the spark plugs and the coil packs, and then try to clean out what's in here. Hi Finny, say hi. You guys haven't seen Finn in a minute. The last video was on the ZS6R, I think. He's a big boy now, right? Say hi, Finny.
Hello.
Oh.
Hello.
Hello. So let's get that cranking. Okay, spark plugs are going back in now. And over here is our parts pile. We have a lot of bad parts on this motorcycle. A lot of new parts has to go on this bike for this to be a rebuild. Both clip-ons are broken off. The switches appear to be okay and reusable. Radiator busted, right fan busted, gas tank no good. The main wiring harness has lots of missing connectors. The main harness that goes to the dash is also damaged, and we have about 20-30 different pins or terminals. That is concerning, because if you hook this up wrong, you could shut out the replacement dash, and that would not be good. We obviously did not get a dash, we did not get any mirrors, we did not get any rider or passenger seats. Crazy. Rear fender is damaged. Rear tail light is damaged. This is the complete brake assembly, both front brake calipers, brake lines, the ABS module or the ABS pump, rear brake caliper, and ABS sensor. These appear to be okay, but both front brake pads would need to be serviced because you can see there's lots of oil over there from the forks that was damaged. Front rider, rear set, the clutch side and the brake side damaged, as you can see. So we're gonna need replacement parts or replacement rear sets. Exhaust shroud is also damaged. Rear seat cowl damaged. Coolant tank damaged. The airbox is completely destroyed. It's the first time I've seen an airbox actually damaged on a motorcycle. Multiple cracks. It's crazy. Multiple cracks. So we are going to need a complete airbox assembly. The front wheel destroyed. Front rotors, as you can see, that is warped and bent in all sorts of corners. The ABS ring might be salvageable, but for sure we need 2 new rotors, an axle, tire, and front ring. When I pulled the wiring harness off, I left the emission system connected and the throttle body. Obviously that's going to need to be cleaned before it goes back on. But like I pointed out, if I go to the front over here, lots of damaged connectors. So I'm going to need a complete wiring harness. The frame is nothing to write home about, completely destroyed. There's no saving this. Upper triple, same thing. Lower triple, same thing. The ignition, same thing. So we're gonna need quite a bit of parts because this motorcycle has an immobilizer system. So we're gonna need a complete ignition assembly to even attempt to get this motorcycle started. This rear subframe under tray is actually okay, so it's one good piece, which is really good. Same for the rear subframe, appears to be okay. Rear tire, rear wheel appears to be okay. The rotors needs to be cleaned up, as you can see, lots of surface rust on that. The rear shock absorber appears to be okay. Now moving on to the exhaust, like I pointed out, it is damaged. There is no saving this. Look at how bad that is. So we need a replacement exhaust system. We might as well go aftermarket if we have to do that. The horn assembly is damaged. The kickstand, actually okay. A couple scratches, but nothing major. The rear pegs, one side is good, one side has some scratches over here. This can be cleaned up, not the end of the world. The left side fairing, well, that needs to be replaced without a doubt. Rectifier is actually okay, reusable. The ECU bracket is broken, as you can see. This battery 3 bracket, also broken. This rear seat bracket is actually okay. The front under fork bracket, broken. Both front forks, broken. Back 3 is okay. Top gas tank fairing, broken. All of these are pieces of the right side fairing, and that is not good. And of course, the subframe. It's broken, it's actually twisted, it's no longer square, so we can't really use this. And yes, I know what you're thinking. Quite a damage. So now I'm gonna bring you over to my chicken scratch over here. We have a list of all the damaged parts and a list of the possibly good parts. To the best of my knowledge right now, I have the engine on here, yet to be determined. We'll see how that goes. But as you can see, we have quite a list. So at this point, I do not know if it's worth rebuilding this bike, considering all the damaged parts, as you can see. But I also don't think it's worth selling it for parts, because we do not have a lot of good parts to recoup the amount of money we spent purchasing this bike. So we're at a difficult position, so to say. I'm probably missing a couple parts on here that I might have missed that's damaged or good, but for the most part, this is everything I can see. That's a lot of damaged parts. First thing I'm going to work on today is the engine. I currently have an appointment scheduled. I showed you guys the damages that this engine came with. We're going to attempt to address that hopefully today. Without much more talking, I'm going to go ahead and load the engine in the vehicle. We're going to head over to him. Hopefully he can work his magic on that piece. But in here, as you can see, we have the engine over here. And right now we're prepping to get this welded and the other side welded. Obviously, as you can tell, there's quite a bit of damage. We've cleaned it as much as possible with some wire brush and some brake clean. So hopefully it's clean and we get a good weld. And we're now back from Superb Welding. You can see the engine turned out really good. I'm not really going to bother cleaning it up because I don't really care. Those are warrior scars right there. And the more material I take off, the less strong it's going to be. It needs quite a bit of cleaning. As you guys obviously saw in the previous video, there was lots of engine oil residue on it. So we're going to wash it, degrease it, clean it, prep it to go in the brand new frame. Now over here is a major component that's going to make this rebuild possible. Our frame is completely destroyed. There's no salvaging that whatsoever. And I've gone ahead and picked up a replacement frame assembly from our friends over at BG Powersports. You guys remember we worked with them on the Suzuki GX 750 build. When I seen they had one of these bad boys available, I didn't waste any time hitting them up, and we were able to work out a beneficial deal. And there you have it. The frame is completely de-stickered. There's absolutely no sticker on it. Now it's time to go ahead and clean it up, prep it, wash it, and get it looking much better than it currently does right now. Well guys, that took a minute. Our replacement frame is now prepped, completely sanded, ready to get some paint on it. That's what it would look like, and that's what a properly sanded paint should look like. So this metal is good. I need to now tape it up. So I'm gonna go ahead and completely tape this up, and then we're one step ready to throw some paint in this. The frame all fully prepped and ready to get paint. I was considering painting the swing arm, but I changed my mind. I'm gonna leave the swing arm the same color, but I'm gonna paint all the plastic bits. I don't want no regular plastic. I want it to have a nice painted finish, which would involve a lot of sanding to remove all this texture out of it. And then obviously while I'm at it, I'm gonna clean this up, drill out the broken bolt and extract it. Well guys, new day, it's time to paint. Let's go set up the paint booth. Well guys, the paint booth is now set up. It's gonna be a bit noisy because the blower is going, but I have the frame in here. I'm gonna go ahead and clean it one more time, and we're ready to start spraying this bad boy down. Hopefully it turns good because it's not really the best day to paint. It's very humid, very hot, so it's gonna be flashing really quick. And to mitigate that, I'm gonna go ahead and use a slow reducer. So hopefully the paint lays down really good. Let's go mix it up. Now the color I'm going to be spraying is black. I have black in here, I have some red in here, and I have some gold in here. The main color is going to be black, so it's going to be pretty much 70% or 80% black, with some of this red that has lots of metallics and some of this gold that has lots of metallic. So I hope when this paint job is finished, it's going to look very, very unique. That's the goal here. So let's go ahead and mix it here. Need to get enough here for at least 2 full coats, maybe 3, just to be safe. And then we can go spray it. I have enough paint in the mixing cup. Here are the colors. So we have red, we have gold, and black. It's like I said, 80% black, 10% of this, and it's looking really good. I'm not sure how this is going to turn out, But that's why we build bikes, so we can risk things like this. I'm gonna ahead and added some slow reducer, like I said I would. Paint is now fully mixed, as you can see. Lots of metallics in there. Let's go spray it. Okay, first coat completed. Massive progress. The frame is fully painted, and from what I can see, there is no imperfections just yet, and I'm super happy about that. I laid down 3 coats of base and 3 coats of clear. Also gonna allow the clear to fully cure. Gonna sand it, buff it, get it that nice finished look that I'm actually after. And now I'm gonna start spraying all the hard to reach areas with some degreaser. Before I get ready to install the frame back on the engine, I'm gonna go ahead and clean up the spark. Now I've cleaned up the weld. It's nice and flush over here. We're not gonna do anything with the front because I think it's just perfectly okay. I can't even really take any material off of that, so I'm not concerned about it. I am now gonna go ahead and start mating the engine to the frame. But before I do that, I'm gonna go ahead and unbox a package I received all the way from Ukraine that has a bunch of parts I'm gonna need to get this bike back on the road. Now in this box, we have quite a bit of pieces. Like I said, it's all the way from Ukraine. But we have a complete wiring harness in here. This was very tough to find and it was not cheap. And we also have 2 packages over here. And in here, we should have a radiator fan. If you remember, it was completely destroyed. I'm going to show you guys the original one in a minute. Much better condition than one we took off the bike, obviously. And over here, we have a replacement oil cooler housing. And there is, this is our new harness, and this is the original harness over there. Like I said before, there's lots of damaged connectors over here, which is why I decided to purchase a brand new harness, well, new to us harness. So this is looking good. Obviously, this harness looks bigger because there's still a lot of component that's on there that needs to be swapped over or moved over to this one before we can install it on the motorcycle. But this is a look of what both of them looks like right next to each other. So now that I've checked all the connectors and everything appears to match up, I'm gonna go ahead and install the new one on the chassis or on the frame before we can throw it on the engine. So we're gonna fit the harness underneath. This harness is mounted at 3 different points on the main frame. I'm gonna add some tread locker. So with the harness now fitted to the frame, we also need to remove some brackets off the original damaged frame. This bracket over here, this bracket over here, this one's over here, and move it onto that new frame. Okay, got that out. And now with a locking plier, I'm able to get this broken one out. We're gonna install this ignition assembly for now, and then I have new hardware because the original ones are in no condition to go back on. Now on the left side of this engine and the frame, Aprilia has a spacer that goes in between there. I have that spacer over here and it fits perfectly in place. I'm going to insert the replacement bolt that I picked up, and we're going to do the same thing for the back right over here. And the final piece is the main bolt that goes right through the frame, engine, and out the other side. Rear swinging arm is completely cleaned up. It looks brand new. I also went ahead and cleaned all the components over there: axle, spacers, nuts, rear caliper holder, sprocket carrier, all the bushings that goes in there, and of course the rear wheel assembly. I am obviously still going to clean up the rudder just like I did on the BMW S1000RR. It definitely looks a lot better, but I'm going to hit it one more time with a wire wheel off the wheel so I don't get this nice wheel dirty again. But obviously, as you can see, it's now time to start reinstalling all of this on the motorcycle. The issue is that this bike is very unique because the axle that goes through the frame and the swinging arm also goes through the rear sets. A very unique way to have the rear set installed on a bike. I don't think I've ever seen that before. And if you remember from the previous video, the rear sets are in no good condition. The left one, which is the shifter side, broken. The right side, which is the brake side, is also equally bent pretty badly. I've gone ahead and picked up replacement parts for this rear set, and over here are the replacement parts I've picked up to repair this damaged rear set. This is for the left one and this is for the right one. Came in pretty quick from Aprilia, surprisingly. I think it only took about a week and change, so not terribly bad, and it's ready to go on. But then I had a change of mind. I'm going to be building this motorcycle from the ground up. Literally almost every single bolt on this motorcycle is going to be touched, so it makes no sense to throw on the stock parts. So that got me thinking. I decided to go with an aftermarket rear set like I always do on most of my builds, even though I was leaning towards making this a really budget build just because of how much parts is damaged on this bike. But I decided to make an exception, and I think this is going to be one of many. And that brings us to this beautiful rear set I've decided to pick up for the 660. And I gotta say, I'm very, very happy with my decision. The quality of this it's wow. I'm super happy. Without much more talking, let's get putting this bike together. For now, I'm gonna go ahead and separate the main brackets that goes to the frame, because we need this to be able to install the swinging arm. That's this bad boy over here. Now to install the rear set bracket on the left side, the kickstand has to go in first, then followed by the rear set brackets, a spacer, and the bolts. On this bracket, there's so many different ways you can actually mount this rear set. For now, I'm going to go in the centered position. Obviously, after the first couple rides, I will adjust it as required. Next, I'm going to install the lever. Also has an end cap that I'm going to throw some Loctite on, just because. Brake lever peg. So before I can fully install the rear set on the right side, I need to secure the rear master cylinder. And before I can do that, the ABS pump needs to go back in here. So now I'm going to go ahead and connect the wire that goes to the starter and to the chassis ground over here. There are two wires that goes to the chassis, one from the main chassis harness and one that's going to go to the negative battery terminal. And the wire that goes to the starter is right over here. Okay, and with that nut secured, there's a protective boot that goes right over it. I'm going to slide that on, just like so. That's good to go. I have the complete ABS assembly, or the brake assembly. I did not disconnect any of the lines because I'm trying to prevent air getting into the system. Even though for sure there's going to be air, I'm going to need to bleed it again. But that's no problem. Now I'm going to need to go ahead and route all of this right through the chassis, all the way to the back and then the front. But yeah, as you would expect, it's going to be a lot easier said than done. I'm going to quickly toss this thing and cut you guys back in. Outside, inside, massive difference. Let's go ahead and clean up this one. Now the newly serviced caliper is going to go on. And the wheel speed sensor, we'll give it some light clean. And that just goes in here. And finally the ABS sensor. That's good. Now that I have the rear wheel loosely fitted, brake caliper is fully secured, I'm going to go ahead and plumb up or fully secure the rear master cylinder and brake light switch. Everything has to go right over here. So I'm going to quickly assemble this and show you guys the final look. Okay, so here's our brake switch. It's going to go on the back right now. I'm going to fully secure it in place. Okay, that's nice and snug. And this is the other bracket. that needs to be secured to the brake switch. So this is loosely fitted. I need to adjust it, and we're gonna be golden. And here's the new plunger assembly for the master cylinder. So before I install this, I'm gonna go ahead and loosely fit this on, so we have an approximate location on how we should be adjusting this one. So now this bit is fully installed. Brake works good. Let's now move over to the left side and complete our install over there. So I'm gonna go ahead and reinstall the factory shift assembly. And then this kit comes with 2 different shift rods. I'm guessing one is for standard shift and GP shift, but we're gonna go with one that makes the most sense. I think this one should be just perfect right now. So in the first video, we completely took the bike apart, as you guys obviously know. The original frame is here, wiring harness, a whole bunch of parts over here, and more parts over there. We picked up a new replacement frame, painted it, have the chassis now mounted on the engine, same with the swinging arm, brand new rear sets, new wiring harness, and we're not stopping there. We completely assembled the swinging arm, serviced the brakes, have that all reinstalled, cleaned out the tires because they were really nasty. Looks a lot better now if you ask me, but we're still far from done. I am still currently waiting for the subframe so I can completely put the rear end back together. I am also still waiting for the front end, forks, wheel. All of that has to come from Aprilia because these parts are hard to find and people are asking way too much for used and damaged Aprilia parts. It makes absolutely no sense why sellers are asking more for used parts than what they actually retail for brand new. So this build is gonna take a while, and that's mostly because I have to source parts for every single thing, because as you guys know, it was all damaged. But I've received a couple boxes of parts, so I'm not gonna waste any time. Let's get unboxing and installing parts on this motorcycle. Early in the build series, I showed you guys that we received a replacement fan and this oil cooler housing. It's now time to install this housing. But before I can do that, I have to go ahead and extract the damaged filter. Same for the cooler housing. Do some light cleaning in this area, and then install the new one. So that probably was 5 seconds for you guys, but it took a minute to get that oil filter out. That thing was badly stuck in here. Now I'm ready to install the new housing. I'm going to lightly coat the O-ring with some new engine oil. That way I know for sure seals against the block and there is no leaks. Because we do not want that, obviously. I'm going to add some new thread locker to this bolt that goes into the block. Alright, so this oil filter retaining bolt is now fully torqued. We just have to bend this tab so it doesn't back out. Okay, and that's good over there. So with that business all done, I have a brand new oil filter that's gonna go in. I'm gonna go ahead and add some oil for good measures. With the oil cooler housing, oil filter fully installed now, We can now connect one hose that goes right to the block over here. I placed this cap when I disconnected because I didn't want anything going in there. So I'm going to quickly remove the cap, connect the hose. This other hose actually goes to the radiator. So now that's all done. We're going to go back up front. At this point, the next thing that should be going up in here would be the exhaust, because we have to put the exhaust before we put the rad in and the fan and all that fancy stuff. And obviously you guys know that our exhaust is in no good condition to go back on this motorcycle. It's damaged without a doubt in multiple locations. There's a dent over here, dent over here. We got a hole over here, more dent over here. It's in no good condition to go on the bike. That's what I'm trying to get at. Like I said, I was aiming for this to be a budget build, but I'm not going to cut corners and spend all this time, spend all this money building the bike that's not going to stand out, or I'm not going to enjoy it. So again, I've decided to go and get something that's not only going to improve the look of this bike, it's also going to improve the sound and hopefully the performance. So this piece of metal is not going back on the motorcycle. Well, as you can see, guys, I've gone ahead and picked up a full exhaust system. I can't wait to hear what this is going to sound like. It's going to be funny because we've never heard what the bike sound like with a stock exhaust, and right away we have a full aftermarket exhaust. So I hope it sounds as good as I think it's gonna. Let's toss it on the bike. So over on the front of the engine, as you can see, everything was welded up really good. Even went more in just so there is enough material to actually stick the weld to, and it's a solid repair. So this is what it looks like over here, and over here lots more really good welds. So it's not going to affect the exhaust mounting in any way. It's going to be really secured, and I'm super happy he was able to get this welded all back in place. And the same goes for the rear one too. As you can see, the bolt is back in. I did not clean up any of this because, like I said, I did not want to take any material off of it, but it looks really good and it's going to be solid. Exhaust gaskets. With the gaskets. Well guys, it was time to retire the motorcycle lift because I couldn't get the exhaust to clear with this in place. So I had to use lower 333 from a ZS6R, I believe, that I've done in the past. And the 333 stand, obviously this is not permanent. This is just to be able to use this apparatus to keep the motorcycle elevated. So now I'm gonna put this away. We're gonna do some cleanup because, well, nothing has moved in a minute over here. And then we're gonna continue the exhaust install. Added some pipe sealant over here. Okay, and now the hardware goes in. Washer and nut on the other side. Now I'm currently doing a longer weighted oil change. Here's a drain plug. Not a lot of metallic substance on it, so that's really good. But the most concerning thing is that we have almost no oil in this engine. Guys, we have received a lot of packages. This is the first one we're going to be opening up today because it has a lot of components that we're going to need to put this bike back together. And don't worry, it's not a Yamaha part. So as you guys know, all of these components that originally came on this motorcycle was damaged. We have the complete airbox assembly, we have the lower radiator mount, we have the lower fork shield that's mounted right underneath the lower 333. We have the battery cover or protector, whatever that is, the new ECU brackets, the stacks, and all the hardware to put this together. And here are those parts. This is the lower battery, this is the battery box over here, cracked, the airbox damaged. All of this is no good stuff. The first thing we're going to work with right now is this radiator bracket. This is the original rad mount over here that's damaged. It also secures the brake lines. And there it is. And the replacement one is going to go back in now. But first I'm going to secure the brake lines. Another thing that's really impressive about the RS660 is that it has steel braided lines from the factory. Not a lot of 600cc's have that. So we're gonna go ahead and get this situated now. So with the radiator bracket now fully secured, I'm gonna go ahead and unbox the brand new radiator I picked up for this bike. So I'm gonna move this onto the ZX-10R over here. And then in here, we have our new replacement rad. And there we have it, new radiator. It definitely looks a lot better than what came off the bike. New rad, old rad, not good. So I need the hardwares off the fan so I can mount the new fan over on the new rad. Damaged fan is off, no good. Completely broken. So I have the new fan over here. So with the radiator now fully assembled, we're now ready to go over here, remove the plugs I've put in place. This is a connector for the fan assembly over here. Mock up the rad and start connecting all of these hoses and connector. I'm gonna loosely fit it on so I can make the required connections behind the radiator. One hardware over there and the second over there. So I'm gonna connect the fan over here, like so. I'm gonna secure it with a zip tie, just like OEM. Next part that's going on the 660 is the horn assembly. I have a replacement one over here and the original, well, you can see for yourself. So I'm gonna go ahead and toss this on now. So this horn assembly simply goes between the rad and the engine block over here, and it acts as a secondary bracket for the rad too, so really good design. Well guys, I've done some cable management over on the left side of the motorcycle. I've loosely fitted the rectifier because this actually mounts on an inner trim or shroud, and that was obviously damaged. So I just have it sitting over here, connected the wire for the kickstand that runs all the way up over here, cleaned up all the wiring as required. I'm still waiting for my subframe, unfortunately, so I can't really do anything back here, which really sucks because I would like to put this rear end together and then start to visualize what this motorcycle should actually look like. I believe I pointed this out already before, but rad is fully secured, rad fan connected, horn is connected on the other side too. The O2 sensors are connected, all the wires are secured in there, nice and clean. Everything is away from the headers, so that's really good. And up top over here, ignition wiring is connected, even though this is still damaged. I'm still trying to figure that bit out. Ignition coils are connected for now. This is the rad fan connector up in here. As you can see, everything is zip tied, secured away. Now I'm gonna go ahead and start cleaning up the cylinders or the valves. I've also connected all the wiring in here, so that's all good to go. ABS pump is fully secured, that's not going anywhere. I'm gonna hurry and purchase some carb clean. I'm gonna clean inside of the valves as much as possible. Earlier in the video, I showed you guys what it looked like on cylinder number 1 compared to cylinder number 2. That looks a lot better. So while I have all of this open, it only makes sense to try and clean this as good as possible. Nothing interesting, so I'm gonna quickly get to this and then cut you guys back in. Well guys, after multiple cleaning, this is what it looks like now. I think it looks a lot better than when we first removed the airbox of this motorcycle. It's not perfect, but it's a lot better, and I'm happy with that. I spent about half an hour doing this, and I'm very happy with the result. I had to come up with different ways to get this cleaned, like hooking up an additional tube to my vacuum cleaner, and then I also had to zip tie some red Scotch Brite to an Allen key just to agitate the cleaning solution I had put in there. And I think it worked out really good, so very happy with that. Now, we're ready to go ahead and install a new airbox assembly. I'm going to install the throttle assembly. It's always good to have some lubricant on the seals so it just goes in easy and it doesn't kink it in any way. So I'm going to add some lubrication real quickly. And we can go ahead and get this installed. So, throttle body is installed-ish. These clamps are a pain. I don't know why Aprilia chose to go this way instead of using the regular clamps, but we'll move on for now. All of this is situated. As you can see, I have the stock emission system back in there. The reason why I have that in there is because I want to be able to run this bike stock, make sure that there's nothing that would cause an issue before I go ahead and delete all of that stuff. So it's only temporary, don't worry about that. Now at this point, I need to still figure out how to get this clamp on, and then I can install the lower airbox, air filter, connect the necessary sensors that goes on the airbox, and then hopefully move on to something else. Well guys, one final look in here. Hopefully we don't have to open this for any engine issues or any concerning things along those lines. But everything is fully secured, throttle body is on, all the connections are made down in here. I've obviously secured everything with as much zip ties as possible so nothing is rubbing, nothing is shaking. Same over here, all connections are made, everything is nice and clean. The only thing I have to do at this point is reinstall the lower section of the airbox, the top section of the airbox, also install the ECU brackets and the ECU. And hopefully it should be done in here. I am waiting for critical components, which is my subframe, and I'm hoping I get that any moment from now because it is out for delivery and I can't wait to get it in because that would really help in putting this section back together. And over here is the lower section of the airbox. One bolt over there to secure it in place. I could not find that bracket, so I did a good old fixing with some zip ties. Really secured, not concerned about it. This tab over here also secures to that other piece. Let's get this installed. We have a rubber grommet up front, and that's the piece over here. It's going to be tricky getting it there. Okay, and now that's in. The air filter goes in. For now, the stock filter is going in. I have another one coming in, but it's not just here just yet. And of course, we have the top piece. And this slip just sticks out on the lower portion of the airbox to secure this wiring harness. Just like that. So now at this time, it's time to install the ECU brackets. I believe I've routed all these hoses to the best of my knowledge. Because if you guys remember, everything was dispersed up front here. The airbox was all pushed over. All of these lines were all pushed. I have these two lower hoses going to the airbox that's connected. This is obviously the fuel line that goes to the fuel tank. And then these are the two breather lines. There's one over here and one over here. These both go underneath the fuel tank right about here. So now I'm going to go ahead and install the ECU bracket like I just said. The bolts right up over here. And then these hoses clip onto it over here. Right here. And then the two bottom ones go to the bottom hose over there. Let's get that done. And ECU goes back in. And we have two connectors for the ECU that needs to be connected. This is one over here. And second one over here. Beautiful. Wow, guys, massive progress. We have completely re-secured everything up over here. The only thing we have to worry about is the rear end and the front end. Everything in the middle right now is a-okay, and I'm super happy about that. This was a ton of work. I'm just happy and thankful that everything is going smoothly. No hiccups so far. I hope that when we do figure out the front end, I have found a dash all the way in the United Kingdom, and that was very difficult. I think that's the most difficult part for me to track down yet, because this bike obviously have an immobilizer, and by working on the Triumph, if you guys remember, those are no jokes. You can have everything put together and it's still not going to work until you have everything coded properly. My goal was to find a dash that came with the ignition system and the keys, because unlike the Triumph, that's not tied to the ECU. All you need is a dash, the ignition, and the keys, and you're golden. I was lucky and I was able to find one. I have ordered it. I'm waiting for it to come in now. And when it comes in, I'm going to throw it in as soon as possible so I can see exactly what I've purchased, because we still don't know if we have a good working engine. I'm pretty positive, because I did all my due diligence. I'm pretty positive we have a good engine, but there's only one way to find out. This is the part that I was waiting for, actually. It's the stator cover plug. I'm going to bring you guys over to the bike so you see what that looks like and why I purchased this replacement one. Over on the bike, as you can see, completely grounded off. This is what it should look like over here, and this is what that looks like. So I'm lucky I was able to find this used on eBay. Can't go wrong. I'm gonna go ahead and remove this one now and install the replacement one. This piece from Aprilia was back ordered with no ETA, so very happy I got this. Look at all that dirt in there. Do some nice quick cleaning. I've looped the O-ring. Now this is ready to go back in place. Beautiful, like it never happened. This is the parts that I've been waiting for a minute, and this is coming from all the way from Aprilia. So what I have here is our front ram air intake, or fairing stay, whatever you want to call it. This took a while to come in because I had to order this directly from Aprilia, like I just said. There was lots of used ones available, but they wanted almost double the asking price of the brand new one. So I decided to bite the bullet, purchase a new one, and just wait. And here we go. We have another package that's coming all the way from Ukraine. Again, these parts for this Aprilia are just coming from all over. Literally, we have parts coming in from the States, from Canada, from Ukraine, and all the way from London. So this took a minute, but we finally have it unboxed, and this is our new to us replacement subframe. And I gotta tell you, the parts for this bike, I'm sure I said it already, are impossible to find, but I was able to find one in really good condition. Super wicked deal on this too. I'm just happy about it. So there it is in all its glory, perfectly okay, no damage. The damaged one is right over here. I'm gonna show it to you guys. Well, there it is. It's not level whatsoever. And there's the side by side. The middle bracket is also obviously broken off, but this was also twisted. I remember pointing it out earlier in the video. That's why we got a replacement one over here. So let's go ahead and install this bad boy on the motorcycle. So before we can install the new subframe, the battery on the tray has to go on. And if I remember correctly, it should just slide in like so. Yeah. Perfect. Looking good. Now it's ready to go on the bike. Now it's time for the subframe to go in. We're gonna put all of this on here. Just like that. Beauty. So we have the subframe loosely fitted on now, looking really good. Now the first thing we're going to install is the main fuse or the starter relay. That goes right onto the side. Your two tabs over here for it to clip into. And then we need to hook up the negative terminal. That's it over there. Well guys, it's a new day and I'm hopping a little bit all over the place. We just loosely fitted the rear subframe yesterday. I want to hop on the front end because I want to have that front fairing stay all figured out. So here are the two brand new front units. This is one, they both mount together. This is one that came with the frame that has the VIN on it. So I'm going to need to drill out this plate so I can rivet it to the new piece over here before I can assemble this and toss it on the bike. So let's get that going first. Okay, plate is all drilled out. So over here I have rivets. I'm gonna find the right size and then we shall have this new plate secured in no time. And one more over here. Okay, that's good. So over here is the old VIN plate from the damaged frame. As you can see, there's a sensor that goes right in here that has to be mounted right over here. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the zip tie. And then I can move that sensor to the replacement unit just like that. And then of course we're going to secure it with the zip tie, same as OEM. Just like that. So now I'm back on the bike. The way this mounts, it's two-piece like I pointed out, and the harness actually goes through the intake, and there are two specified locations where it should be mounted in, and then the wires are routed up to the headlight and out this way and this way for both handlebars. So very interesting design. Obviously when I picked up this bike, all of this was destroyed, so I really don't know the exact proper routing. So I'm going to do this to the best of my knowledge. Over here I have my bracket kits that I'm going to be using to mount the harness inside of the intake over here. So this is what it currently looks like. Wires ran, zip tied over here, zip tied over here. This is how I believe it's mounted, just by looking at the damaged parts that I received with the bike, and we still have a lot of connectors that it's not accounted for. So I'm thinking I'm going to loosely fit the handlebars on with the switches. I'm just going to have it leaning to the side of the motorcycle so I can make all these connections and see what else is still missing. Maybe there's a module that goes up here that I need to purchase. I have no idea. So let's start fitting those handlebars on. And here they are. This is clearly the right side, left side. So I'm going to need to figure out how to have this loosely fitted on the motorcycle while I do this. So it looks like this actually runs inside of this fairing support over here too. Very interesting design. So we have one over there, and over on the right side we're going to do the same thing. Just put this on here so we can make the necessary connections and then start figuring out. So one connected over there, and the final one, this connector is broken, so I'm going to secure it with as much tape as possible so it's watertight. So here's the other half. Wire needs to go right through the top like so. This bad boy goes right over here. Well guys, we now have everything secured up in here. So far it's looking good. There's only a few connectors that's not accounted for. This, I know it's going to go to the dash, left and right turn signals. I'm not sure what this one is, and this down here has to be the headlight. So there's only one connector that I'm not 100% sure what that's for, but we're going to figure that out. Like I pointed out before, harnesses goes through the side. Same over here. This is not a true ram air intake, because on the ZX6Rs or ZX10Rs, this is completely hollow. You have as much airflow going to the engine as possible. But as you can see, these nose dives over here, and there's only a really small outlet to feed air into the engine. So very, very interesting design for sure. I haven't seen that, but it looks like there's something else that should be going over here. So I'm going to need to visit the parts diagram to figure that one out. But it's looking really, really good. I cannot wait for the dash to come in. We have to hop back on the subframe in the rear and completely assemble that. I got a bit excited when I put the subframe on, so I did not clean the battery tray or the undertail. So I'm going to go ahead and quickly clean this out, and we can start assembling all of this. Well, look at that. Beautiful. All nice and clean. So with all of this cleaned, it's time to figure out the proper positioning for all of this. And I'm not really looking forward to it because it's a rat nest, to say the least. But guys, there you go. Everything is fully secured. I have the battery now in here, fuse boxes. This goes to the tail light, obviously. Wow, that was a mission. There's a lot of stuff going on back here, guys. The subframe is still loose. The undertail fully secured. So now I'm gonna go ahead and secure all the subframe bolts to the main chassis, torque down to spec, and then we're gonna throw something in the rear end over here to clean it up. It's a new day and it's like Christmas because I've received a ton of parts for the Aprilia and the ZX-10R. We're gonna hop on the ZX-10R first, and then I'm gonna box a couple parts I've received for the Aprilia. Well, without wasting any time, I decided to get a new seat for the ZX-10R because, well, obviously it doesn't have enough parts on it, and I do have a different aftermarket seat on it, but I decided to try something else with some gel in it because this is pretty stiff, and I don't ride enough to have enough time to break this one in, and this right out of the box is nice and soft. So let's quickly pop the tail off and toss this on. You know, I have to say, getting new parts is one of the best parts about working on anything, cars, bikes, whatever. Paying for them, not so fun, but receiving it is really good. And the new seat is gonna go on. It already feels so much better. Tail goes back in. So the bike is obviously looking good. The next part I'm gonna throw on is the radiator guard to protect the brand new rad I just installed on the motorcycle. Very simple install. I have the piece over here. Let's get it on the bike. So we have a top piece and the lower piece. So it looks like this just slides in here, and we should have hardware to screw it in, but we have no hardware, it's just this rubber grommet looking thing. So I'm gonna look for some hardware, toss it in so I can install this on the motorcycle. That's good. And just like that, the radiator guard is fully installed. That's looking good. And we're back up here with a few more parts to install. Unfortunately, we do not have our front end assembled, so we cannot install the new handlebars or the new grips, which really sucks, but I'm working really hard to find the parts for the front end, and I'm hoping I'm gonna find one sooner rather than later. Right here, I have the next package that's gonna go on the Aprilia RS660, and this was a big ticket item, and it came all the way from the United Kingdom. This was a tough find. I think I mentioned it earlier in one of the videos, but I'm super happy that this is here. Let's go ahead and open it up. Now, what I have here is gold, literally gold in itself. And oh, look at that. Look at that. I'm sure you guys know exactly what it is. It's our replacement dash for the Aprilia. This was difficult to find because I needed one that came with this piece right there. For those of you that have been following the channel for a while, probably remember what I had to go through rebuilding the Triumph Street 77765. It was a pain because that bike, just like this one, has an immobilizer system, and those systems cannot be bypassed. Trust me, I did a ton of work, a ton of research trying to figure out how to get the Triumph started. That was no go. Luckily with this kit, if my research according to what I found out is accurate, I should be able to start the motorcycle. I do not need an ECU, so this should just be literally plug and play. I should hook this up and it should start up. But that's not always the case. I'm not going to waste any time. I need to get some isolators, spacers, and bolts for this. I have lots of those handy. Install it and then get this on the bike. This kit also comes with one key, this immobilized system, and the actual Aprilia key code. So when this dash powers up, it might not calibrate itself. There is a key code in here that needs to be entered for this to be fully functional. This is an excellent find. All right, so over here are the rubber isolators, spacers, and the hardware. Let's get this mounted. All right, so before I go over to the bike, I'm just gonna loosely fit everything on here. That's everything on. On the bike, we're gonna make the connection first. Beauty. Then this should just slot in there like so, and we're gonna get down in there and tighten the dash hardware. Well, this is a very interesting way to mount the dash, but it is mounted, and boy oh boy, I am so excited. It is getting there. It is slowly starting to look like a motorcycle. We had a lot of missing parts on this bike, so to see all of this, it's progress, guys. It is progress. But now that I have the new dash on, I'm super excited. I want to see how it powers on. I'm gonna go ahead and connect the left battery terminal. Hopefully nothing crazy happens, because it's gonna be the first time since putting the entire motorcycle together that it's gonna get any kind of power. Nothing crazy. Dash is flashing, so that's good. Okay, battery is fully secured. I'm gonna go ahead and remove this damaged immobilizer system and install this one. Should be pretty straightforward. One cable to disconnect. Connect this one back in here. And this cable literally comes around. It's just zip tied over here, so I'm gonna cut this off. Route this one back where this one comes from. At this point, I haven't quite figured out the situation with this ignition system yet. I'm currently trying to just get a replacement one that's gonna be a direct fit over here. Since I have this immobilized system, I don't really need it keyed anymore because I have a replacement key, which is right over here. So this is paired to this immobilizer system, and I can have whatever ignition I want over here as long as this is somewhere with the bike, if that makes any sense. But now if I go ahead and place the key right next to that immobilized system, twist the ignition. Oh, look at that. Look at that. The dash powers up like it's supposed to, guys. This is excellent. Okay, we have that code right away. That message that says insert code. So let's quickly get that done. So now that I know the proper code, it should just be, yeah, as you can see, it's changing. So we have an immobilizer fault. That's not good. Immobilizer right there. Let's go do some figuring out right now. Well, guys, that took a minute, but I've currently figured it out. And watch this. There's no fuel tank. Everything is hooked up over here. There's no coolant, but listen to this. The starter relay works. And it cranks over. That is just excellent. One more time. That sounds really healthy. That sounds really, really healthy. And guys, don't worry, it's not gonna start obviously because there's no gas tank. We still have that damage to the fuel connector over here. We have no coolant, right? We have no fuel, but by doing this, we're getting the brand new oil everywhere it needs to be, because this has been sitting for a while and it was drained. So cranking it a few times is not gonna harm anything. Obviously the bike is not running. I'm still waiting for a fuel tank. I'm hoping I get one soon. I have one that I'm currently in talks with the seller. I'm hoping I can get that for a good price. The fuel connector is still another concern because Aprilia does not seem to sell just that connector piece. You gotta buy a whole new fuel pump. And I'm not looking to do that because we're trying to get this bike back together as cheap as possible. I'm gonna go ahead and install the clutch cable. Don't worry, we're gonna loop this up when it's fully set up. Well, before I let you guys go, there's one final part I would like to throw on the Aprilia RS660. If you watch my videos long enough, you would know what I'm gonna be throwing on this bike. I cannot build a bike without tossing it on because I know how important it is to have one of this on your motorcycle. And if you guessed, well, you guessed right, the GB Racing engine covers. So I'm gonna quickly open this up and install it on the motorcycle. And over here are the boxes of parts I have received. We're gonna go ahead and open some of this up and start getting ready to install it on the Aprilia. I also have the original frame and subframe over here. I don't want to just throw this in the garbage. I'm thinking of ideas of how to be able to make this useful. I don't know how. If you guys have had any ideas, drop it in the comment section. I'll be sure to take it into consideration. So in the first box over here, we have a replacement tail tie. And in this one, we have a replacement tail lights. You guys obviously remember that the one that came on the bike was completely destroyed. So I had to go ahead and purchase one. And it's in a lot better condition. With everything fully unboxed, I'm gonna go ahead and install the rear taillight assembly first. So I'm gonna route the wiring first. And this should just go right over here. Okay, so with the tail light installed, we're gonna come over here and assemble this license plate assembly. So the light has to go here, this has to go here, and then we can test it on the back. Now the tail tidy goes in. And now it's looking good. I have this loosely fitted. I've put a heat shrink wrap over here so I can have this wire secured as one piece. I'm gonna throw some tape, run it into the bike over here, and then throw the cover plate on. And with that done, I'm gonna run the wire up in here. Okay, that's looking nice and secured. And now I'm gonna go ahead and add the cover plate. Obviously added some Loctite to the hardware because we do not need this backing out. Guys, this is starting to become a motorcycle. Before, it wasn't, but we're slowly getting there. But every single part I install on it. I now have the rear tail lights installed, tail tidy with the turn signals. License plate light works, turn signal works, even the brake light works. So this is all looking really, really good. I'm obviously gonna go ahead and clean up the wiring a bit in here and we can move on to something else. And with the rear end taken care of, we have a new parts to unbox over here. That's gonna take care of something in the front end and something in the rear at the other side. We have a Motion Pro coolant reservoir and the brand new EK Go chain. There's a lot of other parts in here, but it's not for this build, and you guys are gonna find out about that at a later time. So I recently threw one of this on the ZX-10R and I really just liked it. So I went ahead and purchased another one that's gonna go on the Aprilia RS660. It's a nice clean install, very compact, way better than the stock one, that's for sure. All the hardwares we need are in here. Hose and zip ties. Over on the bike, I've ran the zip ties that's provided in the kit right through the rad and the radiator guard. My intention is to mount this right over here. It's nice and clean. It's not in the way of anything, so I think this is gonna look really, really good. So we have the first zip tie going through, and we have the second one. Now for this install, I will be utilizing the stock hose that goes to the overflow tank. So we have one that goes up top over here, and it's simply supposed to route underneath and go right underneath the tank. Right, so the coolant tank is fully installed. I also have the overflow line over there. It's a bit short. I might change that later. We'll see how that goes. But now it's time to go ahead and open the other box over there. Now over in this box, we have our replacement gas tank. And boy, oh boy, it was a mission finding one of this. And look at that. This is what a proper gas tank should look like. It looks a lot better than what we currently have. Well guys, we now have one of the most anticipated parts to be able to get this motorcycle started, which is the gas tank. It's sitting over here, it's chilling, it's looking good compared to that one. There is a lot of debris on the inside. I'm not sure if you guys can see that. Not debris, but dirt. I'm not sure what that is. So I'm gonna try to run some cleaner through here first before I install the fuel pump and all that fancy stuff. But now the issue is trying to get this open. I do not have a key for this motorcycle, obviously. So we gotta figure out how to get this open. I'm obviously not gonna run a fuel tank cap that requires a key to unlock it, but it's always good to have this. I'm gonna start by popping all of this off and see if I can just somehow extract this cap without damaging it. This is the new gas tank. I installed the fuel pump over here. I've done some sort of plastic welding over here to get this tip back on. I do have a replacement fuel fitting that I've paid expedited shipping to get it in. So hopefully it comes in the next couple of days and we can actually run this the proper way. But in the meantime, I'm just super excited and I want to make sure that this bike is going to start up. And that's why I've done this. I'm not sure how long it's going to last, if it's going to last, but there's only one way to find out. But in order for me to be able to start the motorcycle, I have to go ahead and figure out the correct orientation for this connector and plug the pins back in here. This was obviously pulled off by the accident. I don't know how, don't ask me, because this bike has all sorts of surprises. But I'm gonna go ahead and get this done so we can hook it up to the motorcycle and see if it's gonna start up. Well guys, I now have the tank propped up. I have the fuel pipe over there. It is holding, it's very concerning. Wire is connected. There's only one thing left to do. Try to start up this bike and see exactly what happens. I have the key inserted in here now, so the mobilizer system should work. I'm gonna go ahead and twist it open. I don't hear the fuel pump priming. Nothing. That's not good. I don't hear the fuel pump priming, so that's concerning. So just so you guys see what's going on, when I turn on the ignition, you should hear the fuel pump prime, but there is nothing, completely silent. So the bike's not going to start if the fuel pump is not priming. So whatever issue I'm having is over here. So I'm going to spend some time. I'm going to try and figure out exactly what's going on over here. And I'm going to cut you guys back in and let you know what I find. Well guys, I'm still working on the Aprilia. I had to take the gas tank off so I could check all the wiring, the fuses, the relays. Obviously I cannot test the relays right now because I do not have the proper tool to do that. Fuses are okay. All the wiring appears to be okay. The gas tank is over here. I've hooked up 12 volt directly to the fuel pump. And as you can see, the fuel pump does work. So with that knowledge, the issue is not with the fuel pump, because as you can see from that stream, it does work. It literally shot right out. So the issue is over here somewhere. And this is not good because there's so much that has been done to this motorcycle that it's going to take some time to really figure it out. But I'm going to get back to it. I'm going to keep diagnosing, keep tearing stuff apart as needed, keep looking until I can figure out why the fuel pump will not prime.
A few moments later.
But in the meantime, I went over to my locksmith. After receiving 2 brand new keys from Aprilia, it's been cut. We're gonna see if it works with the lock system currently on the bike. Okay, so over here is our damaged fuel tank. And I initially did this so I can get this cap off. Oh, look at that. One key works. And this is a blank key that they cut for me. Well, it looks like this doesn't work. That's unfortunate. And one more. Oh yeah, that works. 2 working keys, good enough. Very happy about that. Okay, we have that out. There we go. Has the gasket in it, so we really need this. At this point, that's all the parts we need from this Aprilia RS660 gas tanks. If anyone is interested, jump in them DMs. And I know what I got, so don't lowball me. Obviously, I have a replacement gas cap that's going to go on there, and it's really going to clean it up. Nice and beautiful. So with that sleeve that holds the gasket installed, we're ready to install our brand new replacement gas cap and throw the hardwares in. It's now time to install our new replacement chain. Right over here. Here. Now over here is the new chain adjuster that's going to go on the Aprilia. I also had to get one that has the silver insert so it matches the swing arm, because we don't want it all blacked out, and I think they came up with the perfect design. So I'm going to go ahead and pop the axle off so we can install this beauty. Got that off. Now with that removed, the stock hardware over here is also going to come out. Right, here it is. Now installing the chain adjuster, adding some tread locker on the hardware. Okay, just gonna get it really snug. That's perfect. So we have that all lined up over here. I'm gonna move over to the other side and do the same thing. And on this side, it's pretty much the same thing. Axle block out, remove the hardware. It's now out over here. Chain adjuster goes in. Hardware with Loctite goes in. Make sure it's tight. That's not going anywhere. And with all that business taken care of, the axle goes in. And now I'm gonna torque this to spec, 88 foot-pounds. Well, now guys, as you can see, chain adjuster is fully installed. I did go ahead and remove my single bolt I was using over there and install the EvoTech spools. Looking much better. Very clean install. I'm super happy with the way this bike is turning out. Guys, look at this. It finally arrived. The guy just pulled up and handed it to me. He said he had issues, so all his delivery was delayed. He actually pulled up in a Home Depot truck. So I guess his vehicle died and they just had to move all the packages. Long story short, let's open this up and get it on the Aprilia. It's crazy how much this little package cost me. We needed to get the Aprilia started, so I have to bite the bullet on this one. And there we go. Oh, this is a replacement piece and it's actually metal. It's not plastic like the OEM one that broke. So it includes all the tools to set it up in the fuel pump. Let's go ahead and get it. There's a couple O-rings in here. There's also a circlip in here that secures this in place. I hope I can get it out. That was a mission. I got it out, but this was tough. I'm not gonna lie, this was really tough. Using the vise, I used to pry back for a little bit. It looks good in there, so now I'm ready to go ahead and open this up. We're gonna insert this drill, tap it, and then add the screw to secure it in place. Including the cost of the parts, shipping and import tax was almost $150 Canadian. Absolutely insane. I mean, for $100 more, a couple $100, I could buy a fuel pump. But then I also stand the chance of having the same thing that happened to this one happen to that replacement fuel pump. So I had to bite the bullet. Quick test fit. I've obviously added some silicone lube to the O-rings over here, so it's nice and lubricated. You can put it in, find the exact spot to drill, and tap it. That's good. And now this is the tap over here. Now I'm gonna go ahead and add some tread locker to the hardware that's provided, and we can put it in. You can see this is the finished product. Really secure, really good. And I'm gonna go ahead and throw in the hardware I removed over here, and we can throw this pump on the motorcycle. Round 2. Tank is propped up over here. Fuel line is connected. The fuel pump connector is done over there. Ignition. Let's see how it goes. All right, fingers crossed. I can hear the fuel pump priming now, so that's really good. Let's see what happens, because I really don't know. I quickly shut it off. Let's go pick up some coolant real quick, toss it in here, start it right up again, and see what happens. This is really good. It started right up. It started right up. The fuel pump primed. It did its thing. Oh, it's been a long time coming, guys. It's been a long time coming. And guys, I am back in the garage. I picked up some coolant over here. It's now in the motorcycle. So there's only one thing left to do, starting it up. We have the dash over there, and oh yeah.
moments later.
Massive progress. I'm super happy and I'm super thankful that, well, as you guys saw, the Aprilia started right up for the very first time since I've had it. A lot of work has been done, a lot of money has been spent, a lot of energy, time. So I have no words. I'm just super happy. That's really all I can say. All glory to God, because it could have gone really bad for me. It was a big risk. I did perform all due diligence by making sure the engine was healthy to the best of my knowledge, but there's no way to know 100% without actually hearing it start up and letting it run, which it just did. So, just so happy. Big progress, guys. Massive progress. The only thing that's gonna hold us up right now is the front end, wheels, forks, the lower triple, upper triple tree, clip-ons, and fairing kits. Because we're pretty much golden at this point. Back working on the rear side over here, I received this piece. It's a shifting bracket that goes right over it, and it protects this from misshift and broken shaft. So I've added some lube in there, and we're just gonna slide it on like so. And then there's a bolt that secures it all the way in there. Now I have reinstalled all of that, and it's looking really good. Over here we have received a brand new seat, because obviously I did not get any seats with the Aprilia RS660. Here it is. It's a brand new replacement one, and it comes with all the hardware. With all the hardware installed, go ahead and just slide this in here. It's what it's gonna look like. Obviously, we're still far away from having this sit on because the fairing kit, the lower piece, all of that stuff, but it's good to have it there. It's good for the morale. But again, as usual, I have more parts that's gonna go on the Aprilia. And we're gonna start with this one because this is a piece that I've been waiting for a minute. Now, in this box is a part that I've been trying to find for the longest time. It's the lower triple tree. We'll look at that in all its beauty. And this part came all the way from Lithuania. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. If I'm not, forgive me. When this bike is completed, it's gonna be a mix of parts that has come from literally all over the continent, all over the world. So this lower triple came off a bike that was converted to a trike bike, and that just worked out perfectly for me. It's time to go ahead and remove the ZS6R clip-on or lower triple I have over there, install this one. But to do that, I need to support the engine and get all of that pulled out. I'm gonna set the lift back in place here. Gently lift the bike up. It's coming off the triple right now. That's good. Okay. And there we go, ZX6R lower triple. Before I install the new lower triple, I'm gonna add some new lube that's required for any reason. Okay, lower triple goes in. Triple clamp is in. I'm gonna go ahead and remove this lip once again. So with the lower triple fully secured, the next thing I'm going to install on this bike is a steering dampener. I have this dampener over here. I have all the required brackets. I'm going to go ahead and get it installed. I'm adding some new tread locker. Always important to do this, especially when you're installing new parts. And then this bracket is supposed to go right underneath the intake over here. So I'm just going to use a key and snug that up over there. Done the second one over there. That's secured. And now we go over to the other side of the bike. I'm going to pull this hardware because the kit comes with replacement ones that are longer, and here it is, clearly much longer. And now the bottom bracket goes in with this dampener. So with everything loosely fitted, I can't secure anything properly just yet because I still need to put the fork in and the upper clamp before I can torque anything down. But it's looking good pretty much. Those ones have Loctite on it already, so that's good. Same for the bottom one. I can go ahead and secure this one and just adjust it from over there if I need to. And then I'm going to open the next package. And that brings me to the next package. I forgot exactly where I got this one from, but it was definitely out of the country and it took a minute to come in. And if I can get it out of here, because there's so much So we have the replacement fork and it's in good condition. It's just one for now. I'm still trying to find the other pair, but we can throw this on the bike. I'm gonna slide the fork in now and just secure it in place. I've lowered the lift. We can see what that looks like. For the first time, we have good forks on here that are actually straight. Again, steering dampener is still loose, but I also have an upper triple tree that I've picked up for this bike, or upper top clamp, whatever you want to call it, and it's not stuck. I think it's really going to clean up the look of the cockpit. There you guys, as you can see, a nice black CNC aluminum upper triple tree, very lightweight, much better looking than the stock one. This bike is going to look nothing like a stock bike when I'm done with it. So the first thing that's going to go on is the clip-ons or the handlebar clamps, whatever you want to call it, and then I'm going to put the main yoke on. So right now I'm pretty much just mocking up everything because I'm still waiting for the left fork. When that comes in, we can properly set everything up. Fits like a glove. This top bolt will go back on. I might change this to a black one so it just blends in. Look at that, guys. Look at that. It is looking really good. So I just pulled the top clamp back off. I've decided I'm going to go ahead and actually fully mount this thing up because there's no reason why I can't mount all of this right now. And when the left fork come in, I can pretty much do the same thing. So I'm going to go ahead and throw on the handlebar, throw some Loctite or some thread locker to the hardwares, and fully secure everything on the right side. And that's very simple. We have a bolt, a longer bolt that goes right through here. I'm going to throw some thread locker on it and then insert the actual bar like so. With this raised upper clamp, as you can see, there's a bolt sticking out the top over there, and if we go underneath the clamp right there, you can see there are two holes slotted right next to each other. This makes it adjustable. When you have it installed, you can either have the clip-on closer to you or a bit farther away. I really like that. At this point, to continue marking up the front end, I'm going to use one of the forks that originally came on the bike. When the replacement fork does come in, I can throw it in then. This one is obviously no good because it's completely broken off, but this one on the other hand, we can use to mock up for now. Guys, look at that. Look at that. I got carried away putting this back together and I didn't bother to hit the record button, but it looks good. It looks good. I've tightened everything down on this side. This one is just for mock-up right now. The new fork should be here in a couple of days, and then we can throw it in and completely assemble everything. But it's looking good. At this point, all the switches, grips, everything can be moved over to the new handlebars, because that's not going anywhere. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and fully secure the steering dampener down in there, make sure everything is tight and good, and then we can move up here. Master cylinder is off. I'm going to take the bar end off now, and bar end is off. Throttle tube comes off, so does this piece, and we have what's left of the bar. Playing the switch, so it's ready to go back on now. Okay, this is separated.
A few moments later.
Well guys, it has been several days. We're now back home working on the Aprilia. I have my brand new fork. I haven't unboxed it just yet. So enough yapping. I'm gonna go ahead and open those boxes now. Let's just say it didn't go as expected. The forks I ordered that was supposed to be in good condition, I think they gave me a completely different fork than what I seen online, but it is what it is. And since that's the only used one that I seen that was supposed to be in good condition, what I did is I went ahead and purchased 2 damaged forks, and I'm going to make one good fork out of all the set of forks I have. So as you can see, I've completely disassembled all of this. This is 2 forks over here. We have the one good fork that's on the bike, and then this is another fork that I'm currently disassembling. And then that's the damaged one that came off the bike. And this is supposed to be the good one that I received. I'm going to show you guys exactly what's wrong with it. That's clearly not good. I don't know how this was missed. It was actually leaking and they put it in this bag when they shipped it. So clearly they knew it was damaged and they just sent it out anyway. Still in the process of getting my money back for that one. But now this is what matters right now. This one is good. So I need the upper off of this and I did the lower off of that one to make one good fork. It is definitely a lot more work than I intended to do just for forks, but it's what I have to do to get this motorcycle on 2 wheels. Well guys, everything is now completely taken apart. In case you're wondering why I'm not using this, well, it has a damage right over here. And also this piece was originally a right side and we need a left side because we already have the right side on the motorcycle. So left side is out. These pieces are going to get mated together. Obviously I need to wash it, clean it. I have new bushings and seals I'm going to toss on there too, and then insert the internals in there, and we're good to throw this on the motorcycle. I do apologize in advance that I'm not showing lots of this. I just was super frustrated because I did not expect to spend this amount of time on this particular issue, so to say. I had a lot of stuff planned for today for this motorcycle and other things, but sometimes that's the way it goes. I'm just trying to get this done as soon as possible. Well guys, just like that, we have a set of good forks on the RS660 and we have a bunch of bad forks over here. But there's still quite a bit of parts that can be salvaged from that. So I need to do quite a bit of cleaning up before I can hop onto the next part. Oh, cleaning the garage took a minute, but that's done. Now we have a special package over from our friends from BG Powersports. Man, I gotta show it to you guys. Earlier in the video series, I told you guys I purchased the main frame from BG Powersports. Very, very good guys to work with. If you guys are looking for any parts for any motorcycle, be sure to check out their store. They sell exclusively via eBay. They ship worldwide and their prices, you can't beat it. There's no doubt about that. So they've been following along with the build and I think they thought I was crazy for taking this on. So they decided to help us out by hooking us up with a front wheel for the Aprilia. Big thanks to these guys. I really appreciate it. And that's going to help us a ton to get this motorcycle back on the road. Because of companies like this that makes builds like this possible. And I'm very grateful to be working with a Canadian company too. Look at that. We have a wheel that's ready to go on the bike. And these wheels I actually had to come by to so this is exceptional savings and I'm just so grateful. Again, like I said, if you guys are looking for any parts, you can quickly find them on Google or go on eBay and they have thousands of selection to choose from. Be sure to let them know Mike sent you, and I appreciate you all for supporting the businesses that support the channel. I've gone ahead and stripped the original wheel that came off the bike. The brake rotors are over here and they're in no good condition. Completely destroyed. So with our new replacement wheel, we have brand new brake rotors to go on it. So first one, and the ABS ring. And on the other side, new rotor goes on. And the front wheel is ready to go on the motorcycle. Brake rotors, the ABS sensor or ABS tone ring All the bolts are torque to spec. That's looking good. But obviously we cannot install this brand new assembly with this. This does not look good. There's lots of fork oil on here from when the other original fork exploded. The brake pads are for sure contaminated. So we're not gonna do that. Before I go ahead and make this wheel assembly, we have new brake pads that are gonna go on. We have to service the calipers over here, get it nice and clean, then install those brake pads, then the wheel, then bleed the brake system. And guys, I think we're ready to go for our first official test ride on the RS660. I just made that sound a lot easier than it actually is. It is easy, but it is time consuming at the same time. So I'm gonna quickly get to work on that and get this front wheel ready to be mated on the bike. And just like that, all the calipers are serviced and ready to receive the new brake pad. And the spacer. And well guys, there we go. That one is done. Same as this. It's now time to install the front wheel. Put this on so we can start bleeding the brakes. I'm gonna go ahead and put this on. And guys, I have the front wheel now installed. Looking good with the brand new rotors. Oh, really good stuff, guys. So with the brakes fully taken care of, at this point we're going to be bleeding the brakes, but our master cylinder is damaged. As you guys obviously remember, the reservoir was completely broken off, and the connector that goes to the reservoir over here broken off too. I have purchased a service kit that includes a new reservoir and the connector. So now I'm going to go ahead and fully assemble all of this, and hopefully it works okay. Guys, new day, camera died. I didn't really want to stop working, so I'm going to get you guys caught up on what I did. Everything over here is fully secured. I might consider getting a different clutch perch because this is not really adjustable. This is the lowest I can get it, and it's contacting on the handlebar over there. I don't like it. I prefer my clutch lever a little bit lower than this, but we're going to run it for now. Now over to the right side, all of this is secured. I have it all plumbed in. It just needs some fluid in there, and then we can start bleeding the entire brake system, including the rear, because we haven't done that yet. So I'm gonna get to it right now. Well guys, front brake is fully bled, really good actuation. That took a minute because I was bleeding these brakes the way I bleed every other brakes, but it was still spongy, it didn't feel right. Then I remembered I was working on an Aprilia, so I quickly connected my TOPDON tool over here, and I had to go into the ECU and actually set it to the brake bleeding mode, and now it's good. And when you actually do it, you hear the ABS pump kick on. And this is what it sounds like. So I'm going to quickly bleed the rear brakes and we're good for brakes. And the last bit of part I have to throw up here is this on the splash shield. I completely forgot I had this because, well, obviously it did not come with the bike that we were working on, but I found it. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw in all the hardware that secures it in place. Well, that didn't take too long and it's fully secured. And over here, as you can see, I have unboxed new frame sliders that's gonna go on the Aprilia. Obviously, with as much work we've done on this bike, we need to protect this investment. And these bad boys are gonna do that. The issue right now is that my coolant reservoir is in the way to install the frame slider on this point. I'm gonna go over to the other side and install the one that goes on the left side so you guys have an idea of what it's supposed to look like on this bike. And I'm gonna come over here and remove this, mount the frame slider, and then figure out an alternate location for that. This bolt comes out, same for this one. I feel like I'm doing my work already. And the frame slider goes in place. And that's the finished product, guys, and it does look good. So now we need to move over to the right side and repeat the same thing. But on this side, like I mentioned, we need to remove this, mount the frame sliders first, and then figure out exactly how we're gonna fit this back on. Well, that turned out okay. As you can see, I have the reservoir mounted. I just had to drop it as low as possible, and it's still tucked in good. Frame slider is in, talk to specification, we're A-OK. And while we're still protecting the bag, I have picked up front and rear axle sliders. That's gonna go in the front and obviously the rear. So let's go ahead and get this assembled real quick and toss it on. Doesn't contain much. We have 2 rods that goes through the axle, and we have the crash bobbins over here. We have a lot more parts coming in, get this bike looking the way I want it to. And we have the first contender of the day, the headlight. Now the headlights for this bike, needless to say, quite expensive. I was able to find an aftermarket unit, and I hope it works okay. And look at that, brand new. Brand spanking new, guys. Beauty, no damage on it whatsoever. That's straight on the bike. So should be pretty straightforward. This is the connector right here, and yeah, goes right in. We're gonna place it here and try it out. I'm currently running the switch right now because I haven't figured out the ignition system just yet, but hopefully that's gonna get figured out in this video. Well, it looks like we still have that fault code for the headlights assembly, so that's not good. The headlight does power on. Let's see. Okay, so it does work. It does high beam. So I guess that's the high beam down there. So high beam is on. This is the running light. So it does work, but we still have, if we go over to the bike right here, we still have that fault code. So I need to figure something out for that because this was a quite expensive purchase, and this is no good. I'm gonna need to figure out if anything can be done or if I can only run an OEM headlight on this bike.
A few moments later.
I just received a package I've been waiting for a minute. Well guys, I did it. There's clearly no budget on this build anymore because we have more than exceeded that a long time ago. So I decided to spice things up. Why not, right? So I picked up a whole bunch of carbons for the Aprilia RS660. And I think with all this, it's gonna set this bike out for sure. Just look at that. It looks beautiful. Mainframe covers over here, swinging arm covers, rear fender, and the chain guard. Beauty. Look at that. I might not need adhesive for here because we have 2 bolts that's gonna go in place, and I think that should keep it pretty secure. All right, so first piece is loosely fitted and it's looking good. I'm only gonna put adhesive over here, and the reason is because I don't want any air to get caught in here and just the force ripping any of this out or cracking it or anything. So I'm gonna put a line of silicone over here, and just to make sure that this is fully secured in there, and then maybe another line over here, and there will be 2 bolts over here to secure it. I think that's going to be plenty. Some degreaser. Again, all of this has been cleaned multiple times already. It's always good to double check. So over here too. Okay, just like so. Good to go back in place. I'm gonna secure everything now, loosely first. Well guys, everything on this side is now completed. I went ahead and used the silver hardware. I had this in stock. I think it actually complements the carbon fiber. Instead of throwing black ones in here, I think this really does it. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. But now I'm gonna go over to the other side and install the swinging arm cover and the rear fender. Okay, let's just see. Okay, now I'm gonna pull it off, add some adhesive, and then we can throw it back on permanently. Rear fender goes on. Done working on the rear end. Now up in the front, I've put the mainframe carbon fiber on right now, and I've routed one zip tie over here, one over here. This is a tricky one, getting one that's going to keep this area suctioned in while that glue cures. So I need to run a zip tie in here and preferably another one down here, so it's really good. Apply some adhesive to this and then we can mount it on. On this side, the carbon cover is not going to fit because of the frame slider, so I have to get it off. That's enough clearance. And okay, now it fits. But we also have another issue. I think this piece was made on a Friday. So this is the area where the VIN plate on the frame would show, and they're completely covered over it. Obviously, I need to have the VIN visible, so we need to cut this out. Well guys, just like that, the mainframe cover is on, the swinging arm covers are on, fender, everything is all in place, and it's looking really good. I have this zip ties holding everything in place right now, so the silicone adhesive can cure properly. And then when that's all done, we're gonna take it all off so we can fully appreciate this masterpiece. The next part I have been on the bike are levers. Alright, so this just comes out. We need to extract this piece over here so we can install it in a replacement lever. Well, to do this, I just had to put a socket on this side and a much bigger socket over here. Use the vise, push it out, and then I have that piece out. Now, this is gonna go in the new replacement lever. Officially in the United States, let's hopefully go pick up some parts. And we're back in Canada. We have a long drive home. I'm gonna catch you guys back in the garage. Guys, welcome back. I am hopping on the Aprilia RS660. It has been a long wait trying to get parts in for this motorcycle. And if you're considering rebuilding or working on one of these bikes, I highly suggest you rethink it. But I'm not gonna waste any time. I'm gonna show you all the parts I have for this bike now because we have quite a bit of parts. Let's just get straight to work. All right, so in the first box over here, we have a lot of parts that I've been waiting for over 2 months easily, and this had to come all the way from Italy here. And it was not cheap, but it was the best way to go because the used prices for this is absolutely ridiculous. All right. That's the main inner fairing piece, inner fairing supports. Well, I said you guys had trouble of watching me unbox everything, but this is pretty much what I have received from Aprilia. Both side main fairing pieces. This is for the left side, or this is for the right side over here, the inner supports, and then this top pieces. I actually mistakenly ordered one of these because I have this from the original bike and it wasn't damaged. The right side was missing, but it doesn't matter, we're going to throw all new ones on it. Now the issue is there's a couple other parts that I ordered brand new from Aprilia. I waited close to 2 months for it just to receive an email a couple days ago. There's no stock, I'm not going to get it, and the order was cancelled. That's after almost 2 months of waiting. I'm trying to source the user replacement one. Even if I ordered it today, it's going to be a little bit before it comes in. So I'm going to continue putting the bike together as is, and whenever that does come in, I'll throw it on the bike. And the two parts I'm missing is the left side, because this is the right one, so an identical one, but for the left side that the rectifier mounts onto, and the dash upper cover. Those two parts, I don't have it just yet. And the next package is the one you just watched me go pick up in the United States of America. It was a pain finding this because it's back ordered from Aprilia. You can't even get it. It doesn't matter. And I've already unboxed it to take a look at it, obviously, but I'm going to show you guys what's in here. And it is our replacement OEM headlight. Not the aftermarket one we tried throwing on to begin with, and it didn't work. I'm quite certain this is going to be work because it's an OEM piece and it's pretty much almost brand new. It was also part of the deal. I picked up 2 stock mirrors, so the left and right mirrors, because he gave me a good offer on it, but we're not going to throw that in. I have something else for that. And that's all the OEM parts I have for now. A lot of these parts, usually I don't order OEM because when you order aftermarket fairings, they usually come with the aftermarket fairings. But for the Aprilia RS660, that is not the case. I'm not exactly sure why, but all the different aftermarket manufacturer suppliers do not carry any of these pieces. So if you're going to rebuild one of these bikes, that's one thing for you to keep in mind. You're going to have to pay top dollar to get these parts in. On to the first part that's going to go on is the one that goes on the right side of the motorcycle. Like I pointed out, it should go right about here like so. Yeah, the coolant reservoir we usually mount over here, but we have the Motion Pro coolant tank, so there's nothing to go over there. So I'm probably going to try and block this up so we don't have debris coming into the fairing kit. Next, I can go ahead and mount this side fairing piece, but in order to do that, I need some hardware. In case some people have forgotten, this is what the fairing looked like, or at least what's left of it when we received the bike. Not a whole lot. The whole side was ripped out on this one. It still has all the hardware, which we're going to need to put together the new one. And the new one is missing this piece, which luckily is in there. So I'm going to grab that and move it over to the new one, move all the hardwares, and I'm going to show you the amazing fairing kit I've come up with for this bike. Well, I've extracted all the hardware I need from this, and it's pretty much garbage. Now what I have in the box over here is our fairings for the Aprilia RS660 from no one other than AuctMarts fairings. I am going to go ahead and open this up, and you're going to see what I've come up with for the Aprilia RS660. Oh yeah. Guys, do you see this? They completely knocked it out of the park. I spent so much time researching the call I wanted this Aprilia RS660 to be, because considering how much work I put into it, it has to be unique because it's not going anywhere. This bike is a keeper, and I really wanted it to stand out. They completely slayed this paintwork. I know the camera is not going to do this justice, so take a look at it and imagine 100 times better, because that's what it is. The finish on this is pristine. The decals, this is the exact replica of what I envisioned for this bike, and it's just flawless. The paintwork, everything is just beautiful. I have no words. You guys have heard me say this before, one too many times. I've rebuilt so many bikes I can't even count anymore, and I've used fairings from all places you can imagine. These guys are the business. Don't sleep in it. You're looking to get aftermarket fairings for your bike, to switch it up, to rebuild it, to put it back together, whatever the case may be. Use my discount code over here and in the description and save yourself a lot of money. You can literally come up with your own designs and send it to them, and they will hook you up. Look at what they did over here. I can't find one single imperfection. I can't find nothing. Wow. Wow. Let's throw this on the bike. You know, my initial plan was to paint all this regular plastic bits, but I just don't have time for that right now. I will try to get to this at some point, and whenever I do decide to paint it, I'm obviously going to make a video on it, but it's just not possible to get this done in the time frame and all the things I have going on right now. So we're going to throw it together as is. The bolt goes in. I'm going to quickly wipe this down before I install the outer piece, and then this masterpiece is going to go on. I now have the two side panels fully assembled. It's time to install or assemble the headlight frame. Man, this paint job is just out of this world. Headlight is now mounted to the front nose. We obviously need a new windshield because, well, the original one was not present when we picked up this bike. And in this box, I have picked up a new rear seat and a new smoked windshield. So this one is lightly smoked, it's not too dark, and I think it's just perfect. The entire front nose assembly is now fully put together, and man, this thing is just beautiful. I really like the lightly smoked double bubble windshield, very good. Now over on the bike, this is the one piece I'm waiting for over here. There's a piece that should cover all of this. I don't have it. I believe if I have the windshield on, you won't even be able to see that this is open, but I have it on order. Whenever it comes in, I will throw it in. So that's not a big piece. I'm going to connect the headlight assembly and install the headlight in place. Really buried in there, but there's a bolt that needs to be secured all the way down there. With the front nose fairing installed, I should be installing the stock mirrors, which I picked up with the headlight assembly, but I'm not going to be running that. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and check the new headlight assembly. You guys know exactly what happened with the aftermarket one, and right away, we do not have that fault code anymore. So that's really good, and the headlight does power on. So we're golden. And I've picked up a special mirror replacement. So we have this winglet mirrors that's going to go on the Aprilia. I think it's going to look really good. And this hardware comes separated, so I'm going to throw some tread locker, insert it, and then fully secure it in place. That's good. Now the mirror is going to go on, and the hard ways go from the bottom. It is looking good, guys. It is looking really good. At this point, we should be installing this left piece that we installed on this side to mount the rectifier. But like I pointed out, I don't have that in just yet. So I'm gonna need to figure out a way to secure this rectifier so we can actually ride the bike. When that piece does come in, I'll throw it in. Now that I have installed the wing glide mirrors, I've obviously deleted the turn signal that's mounted on the stock mirrors. But I have something else that's gonna go in place, and this is this bullet style turn signals, which is super bright LEDs. I'm going to install this a little bit later when I figure out exactly where it's going to go in the bottom section. I think it's about time to install the tank fairing. Yeah, oh yeah, that is a perfect fit. Like, it could not be any better than that. But the tank fairing installed, I'm moving over to the rear. First piece that's going to go on is this, and then the side fairings. And then there's another plastic trim that's going to go over here. Making really good progress, guys. I was going to go ahead and install the rear passenger seats, which is the brand new replacement one I picked up. Obviously, we did not get any of this with the bike, but then we have an issue because, as you can see, there are two tabs over there that should slide into something, and there is absolutely nothing on the subframe. That's the locking point that goes to the latch over there, but there's nothing for those two tabs to slide into. And then I started looking in my parts pile and I found this. So it looks like you have to run this bracket. Even if you want to run a seat, it has to go in place. And this is damaged. I did not realize that we never got the seat when I picked up this bike, but we had this bracket. And as you can obviously tell, it's missing a good chunk. And when we put this in place, it just locks in. And then when that's in, we can now put the seats. I don't think this is the best design because now you have all of these plastic bits showing. It really makes no sense why Aprilia would do this. All the bikes just have a seat that latches into the subframe. That's the way it's always been. I've never seen this done before. Now I need this piece. Not good. And I don't have it. So I need to order that too, which is going to go ahead and delay this video some more. Or I might just get a seat cowl and call it a day. Quickly modified that seat bracket. So now it's installed. I just made a cut over here. That side is obviously destroyed. So the two tabs over there will just slide in place. And the seat locks. When the new replacement one comes in, I'm going to cut it as fine as possible to match the seat, so it's not showing whatsoever and you can appreciate the beautiful paint job. Right now, it's looking good. We are for sure going to need to get a replacement because over on this side, there's nothing keeping the seats secured. So we do need it. So now I can install the rider seats. There's no hardware that secures in place, which kind of makes sense why none of the seats was in place when I picked up this bike, because obviously it just got tossed off. And when you install the passenger seat, that's supposed to hold that down. Not the greatest design, but what do I know? And that's it. So that's the way it's supposed to be secured right there. So while I wait for the last bit of part I've ordered to come in, I have a little part I want to throw in, and it goes over on the front brakes. I have ordered this brake cooler duct. Now this bike is never going to be ridden hard enough to probably require this, but I might as well throw it on. I have the mounting tabs loosely fitted, and then it's going to slide on like so. And the brake caliper bolts actually secures it in place. I just realized I forgot about the performance air filter I bought to install on the RS660. That's what happens when you're waiting for parts for so long. But I found it. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the gas tank off, open up the airbox. We're gonna throw this new air filter in there. Gas tank should just come up. It is full of gas, so this is not the greatest time to be doing this. And then a couple hoses to take out over here. And with the 3 hoses disconnected, this should just come right off. we have the original paper filter out of the bike. The brand new replacement one is ready to go in now. There it is. Airbox lid goes back on. With the filter box fully installed, the key and the mobilizer is fully taped in so it doesn't go anywhere, and we can start the bike with any ignition system I decide to run up here, so that's good. Now I'm going to go ahead and reconnect everything, and we're going to be golden over here.
A few moments later.
New day, guys, and this part just came in. Another Aprilia OEM part. This is the top dash cover that I've been waiting for so long, and that's literally it. And this was very pricey, but we needed to finish up the top front. Have the whole assembly out of the way now. You can see the missing cover over there, and that's where this bad boy goes, and it just slots in like so, and we have 2 screws to secure it from the top. That's good. And that assembly is now fully installed, and it looks good. It actually cleans up the top front dash area over there, as you can see. So now it's time to get to installing the side fairings. And I'm going to start with the right side first, because we are completely set up on this side to receive this panel. And now for us to be able to keep on assembling this bike, I have another part that came in. This is a used replacement part I picked up. You simply cannot get this from Aprilia. And there it is. It's the lower one that goes right at the bottom over there. I'm going to go ahead and clean this up real quick, and I can throw it on the bike. For the turn signals, I went ahead and spliced in the stock connector from the stock mirrors. You guys have seen me do this a million times, I'm guessing. I'm using Rizoma turn signals because they appear to be slightly brighter. And so that's what we're running with right now. I'm going to go ahead and clean up the wiring in there, figure out the mounting location out here, and we're going to be golden. With that bit of wiring business taken care of, this piece goes on now. Now I'm going to secure the turn signal underneath here. I've drilled a hole. Okay, that's not going anywhere. Secured, I have to move over to the other side and pretty much repeat the same thing. Fully secured. I like the way it sticks out so you can see it from all corners, and that's the goal. And these LEDs are super bright. But just when I thought I was almost complete, I have more parts coming in, more carbon fiber. We have the tank guard over here, we have the ignition cover over here, looking good, and then we have front winglets. But I'm not sure if I'm going to throw this on, because when you do put it on, it does cover up that turn signal a little bit. This is the top view, so you can't really see it anymore compared to before. So you guys let me know, should this go on? It does look clean, but I don't know if I want to throw it on and cover that turn signal. You'll see from the bottom, very good. You just wouldn't be able to see it from, say, from this angle pretty much, and from the top, not so much compared to like this. I'm going to show you guys how bright that thing is. So right turn signal is on, and yeah, look at that. Actually, that's not so bad. Might end up throwing this on. With both sides now fully installed, hand grips are going on next. So here's the tank grip I ordered for the Aprilia, but I'm not going to install it because this white edge just really sticks out and it doesn't match anything on the bike. I did find this other tank grip that I ordered for a Z extender a long time ago. I never installed it. So I'm going to throw this on, and I think it should look just okay. The Aprilia is at the finish line. There's a couple more little bits and pieces I would like to switch up. I don't have the parts to do that yet. What you're going to see right now is going to be final product of this build. It's been a long time coming. I'm super excited to show you guys what the bike looks like right now compared to when I picked it up. Let's get to it. just like that, guys, that completely sums up the Aprilia RS660 rebuild. A lot of work went into this motorcycle, so you guys are for sure going to be seeing this bike on the channel for a very long time. A big thank you to all the channel supporters and sponsors. It would not have been possible without this, guys. AuctMarts, Fairings, BG Powersports, the list goes on and on. I'm truly grateful to these companies and to everyone that's watching this video that's supported in one way or another. All our channel members, thank you, thank you, thank you. The bike is fully done, road legal, ready to be ridden. A couple final details that we'll be taking care of off camera, but the major work has been completed. On that note, if you watched this video to this point, you clearly enjoy what you've seen, be sure to subscribe, drop a like, comment, all that fancy stuff, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.